Hello, this is Andrew with $1,000,000Bike, and these are a set of Winspace Lún HYPER D45. A friend of mine bought these, and I talked him into letting me unbox them. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to run through some basic measurements, check the spoke tensions, and then throw them on a truing stand to check the radial and lateral true. So let's get to that. It's probably worth noting that there is a little bit of damage to the box. It looks like almost like it got wet in transport because of the way that the cardboard compresses here. So hopefully nothing bad happened. But I guess that's one of the nice things about unboxing something on camera. Okay, what do we get here? We have a nice little, looks like a handlebar bag. Lún bar bag wheel accessories. I imagine the extra spokes that you get are in here. So one of the nice things about this wheel set is they come with these fancy aero carbon spokes. You get a manual and tire levers. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure what these are. Maybe a spoke wrench or something. So let's put all that back in here. And yeah, the box is a little bit damp. There's a little sign on here that says stop. Basically, you don't want to pull the end caps out, which makes sense. So it doesn't look like these had any damage to them, so that's good. And they're well packaged. Pro tip, keep these. Because if you ever travel with a bike, you put these on inside your case and it protects the rotor, the disc rotor, from damage. It's like a cap around this end cap as well to protect it from damage. All right, so basic measurements. Oh, that's nice. It came with pre-taped with the tubeless valve. Noting that this is one of those rectangular tubeless valves, so if you ever need to replace it, you're going to want to replace it with exactly the same kind. There's two kinds, the conical kind and then the rectangular kind. They're not generally cross-compatible. So width, got 27.7, internal 20.9. I didn't think to look up the specs beforehand, but I'm guessing they're probably spec'd to 28, 21. So that's close enough. That's good. The first thing you want to look at here is the direction of these aero spokes. That's important. If they're flat, then that's not aero. And they look visually really nice. We will check tension, so we'll check for uniformity in that as well. I like this weave pattern. It's really nice. And I also like the hyper, the way the hyper is written on there. So let's get the other wheel out and then we will weigh them. Again, keep this guy. Just be careful when you're pulling it off so you don't pull the end cap off. Here again, visually, it just looks perfect. There's a little drain hole that I missed on the other one. Just in case you get water inside, that's kind of a nice thing to have. Okay, front wheel. $660.7 grams. Rear wheel. 814.6 grams. And now this is when we test my balancing skills. So that puts our wheel set weight with tape and valves at 1475.2, which is pretty good. And the claimed weight here is 1421, but that's probably not with valves and tape. So that is well within spec. There's probably like a plus or minus 15 on there. So if these were my wheels, I would be thrilled about that. It is possible to get lighter wheels at this same kind of price point, but I wouldn't worry about it. 100 grams either way, it's not going to kill you. So before we start looking at the True, it's worth noting that this is a mullet wheel set. This guy is deeper. The rear wheel is deeper than the front wheel. The rear measures in at 53.9. And the front is 45.8. All right, so let's check our True here. So it's going to be kind of hard to see this on camera, so I'm just going to look at this, basically watch the wheel against the inside of this whatever caliper against the white and check. That's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. So now we're going to see like where it runs out, because you can be straight this way and still wobble that way. And that's near on perfect too. So that's an excellent sign. Okay, rear wheel, going to check that one same way. This guy has a slightly more wobble, but still totally fine. That won't concern me at all. It's just not quite as perfect as the front wheel is. Yeah, and that's perfect. So that is, I would be thrilled with that. I'd be thrilled with the quality of both of these wheels. Very nice. All right, so let's check our spoke tension now. Okay, I'm going to save you all the trouble of watching me measure all these spoke tensions and just say that it's relatively consistent. The rear wheel, and I'll put all the numbers up here. The rear wheel was a little bit more variance than I would have expected to see. There was plus or minus 2. Most of them were reading on here 19, but it went up to 20 and down to 18. The front wheel was a lot more consistent. It was all 17 and 16s, but you know, this is not the most precise measure. So some of those 16s were probably 16.5, and some of those 17s might be really 16.8. So again, I wouldn't be concerned by that, but I would like to see a little bit more consistency, I think, on the rear wheel. The front wheel seems perfectly fine. So my friend opted for 26C tire. These are Pirelli P0 Race TLRs. So that's pretty tight. I wouldn't say that it's crazy tight, but I definitely had to pull out the rag to make them go on. I've never used Pirelli tires before, so I don't know if that's normal. But you do kind of want them to be pretty taut because you don't want them to come off. All right, let's see if we can mount it without taking the valve cord out. Yeah, that went right on. That's perfect. All right, so let's get our measurements with the tire on. This is a 26C tire, and it measures 26.5. Second one went on a lot easier. Gonna try it again without taking out the valve core. Yep, straight on. So all in, I think I have to say that I would be pretty pleased with the quality of these wheels if they were mine. Obviously, this is not a full review because I'm not going to ride my friend's wheels for him. I have to give them back, unfortunately. Anyway, I hope you thought that was useful. If you did, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Thanks.